Hello, folks. This is Gorebagg on gorebagg.com and Gorebagg TV. This is lesson number 2. What is plastic anyway? That's a really good question. It's the kind of question we used to ask back in the 60s. So, what is plastic anyway? This is a plastic recorder. It's a soprano, plastic soprano recorder. It's not very good. But when you consider this is the least expensive soprano recorder you can buy and still call it a recorder, it's $5.15. I just showed you a $3,200 wood recorder. This is a $5 plastic recorder and not a very good one. I recommend a different kind of recorder if you're going to get plastic. And we'll talk about great plastic recorders because there are some that are hand-bored, that are beautifully bored. They're not just cast plastic. They're beautifully made. So don't despair because plastic recorders are actually maybe the way to go. I'll play a little bit of this one just to give you an idea what it feels like. But keep in mind, this is not a good plastic recorder. I just played one of the very best wood recorders in the world. Tomorrow or the next day, whenever it arrives, I have a recorder coming here, which is an Aulos, a very beautiful recorder, the 500 series, and I will talk about all that as we go. But this is the cheapest recorder you can buy, and not be in a Newberry's. That's a 5 and dime store. Or the dollar store. I mean, you might get this at the dollar store. This is the kind of recorder you would get at a dollar store. Well, let's just hear it. Isn't bad. Not great, not bad. I will show you some plastic recorders that are truly great. And by and large, the thing about a plastic recorder is that if it gets gunked up, you simply throw it in your dishwasher. Not exactly, but you put it in some detergent and swab it out. It's clean. You can't do that with wood because the wood would swell up horribly and would be finished, would be worthless. So when you consider that you're paying 1/10 or 1/20 or 1/50 the price of a wood recorder, you just have to take that in balance. But then, when I say what is plastic anyway, I mean this. I will now show you. By the way, the argument against wood, not just for plastic, is that many of the early recorders were carved of ivory. This is a simulated ivory. It's genuine simulated ivory, by the way. Made by Yamaha. And this is a professional recorder made by Yamaha. This is a different range. This is actually the alto. I don't have a soprano to demonstrate, but I will have it tomorrow or the next day for you to hear. But this is what a professional recorder can sound like in plastic. I'm playing in two types of range. It has actually 3 registers, maybe 4 to some people. To me, it's only 3. And I'm going up and down register because I play this like a shakuhachi. I don't play it like a Baroque recorder because I hate Baroque music. One of the reasons I never played recorder before is because it is considered a Baroque instrument. This is actually the best way I can explain it is that I would never play a recorder if I couldn't play it like a shakuhachi or like an Indian or or a Native American flute or a Tibetan flute or something, because I just don't really care for Baroque music. I hate it. I hate it. So this is not, I mean, I could, and so forth. You can keep that, take it and stuff. But knowing that you can play this a different way is very interesting. I had a very, very fine shakuhachi that was 450 years old. I gave it to Gene Crystal. The reason I did is because I could not play that thing. The reason is because of the type of blowing you had to do to make that sound that work. I had no problem with the fingering. I didn't know how to do, I still don't know about fingering at this point. I'm learning as I go how to do the fingering. So why am I giving a lesson since I don't know the instrument at all? I'm giving a lesson because I figure you're in the same boat I'm in. So we'll learn together. And I do know a couple of things which I'm pulling in from my pups, my parallel universe persona. So I'm pulling in some information for you from other universes. And that helps a little bit, considering that they have to live the life of a professional musician with a recorder in hand. You play the recorder. Typically, you're going to play your recorder, each recorder for 20 to 40 minutes every day. You have presumably four recorders in each range, and then a backup of each of those. So you're talking a total of maybe 4 hours, 5 hours of play every day. If you don't do that, you have to break your recorder in from scratch all over again if it's wood. The only advantage to wood that I can determine, by the way, is that you can get a job as a teacher or get a job in an orchestra, should that actually ever happen. Should an orchestra ever want a recorder, you will get a Baroque ensemble perhaps, or a consortium or something like that. You might get a job. If you say you got a plastic recorder, they might look at you askance, as it were. But if you have a wooden recorder, they look at you with a great deal of respect because you have just been stupid enough to spend $3,000 on a piece of wood. I feel very strongly that you should not invest in a recorder. I think that you can get some fabulous recorders for a very reasonable price that will do a very reasonable job. So let's hear this recorder a little bit here. This is an alto range recorder. I'm just kind of giving you an idea of the tonality. Actually, I can put a lot more expressiveness and energy into it, but I don't want to do that at this point because I don't want to actually, I'm not going to show you at this moment the breath control and the embouchures and the various mouth and air column tricks that you use to get great sounds out of this thing. I promise you that when I play this for you in a recording session, you're not going to be able to tell this from wood. I promise you won't be able to tell it from wood. Just so you understand that, plastic is more than okay. It has tremendous advantages. The greatest advantage of all is it doesn't mildew, and it doesn't swell up. It behaves itself, it stays in tune. And unlike ivory, it doesn't crack. Ivory will tend to crack when it's exposed to slight extremes of temperature and humidity. It will crack. So what is plastic anyway? Plastic is okay. Think of plastic as an okay device to get you a great sounding recorder. Let's talk about specific recorders in the next lesson, which is lesson number 3, I guess it is, which is, which recorder shall I buy? I'll be right back. Lesson number 3. Tune in. Be there or be square.